Hello, and thank you for joining me. I am Krista Snow, coming to you from El Paso, Texas, right here on the border. 2 years ago, I decided to create a podcast of mini-series focused on outliers and the unique journeys we walk, because truly, we need each other. I've built a collective to dive into a variety of topics from healing and relationships to business advice and neurodivergence. My commitment to you is to bring you integrity and high quality, because I believe in people and their potential. So without further ado, welcome to this space where you can join the collective as we listen, learn the flip side, and ultimately level up our lives together. I'll be your host, and you're listening to the Level Up Podcast. Hello, and welcome back to the Level Up Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about triggers, and I have both Leah and Melissa here. Say hi, guys.
Hi.
So, we think triggers is a very critical topic of not just understanding what it is, but practically understanding how to walk through it, how to walk down it, and how to love yourself in the process. Because one of the things that's hard is loving the ugly parts of yourself that you don't like. And every time we get triggered, it brings up things that we don't like to remember because it's a mirror into trauma. So today is a really important episode for us, and we're super excited. And we'll start with low high. Who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Okay, Melissa, low high.
All right. My low is the heater in my place is broken, so it's very cold in here. But my high is that I had an amazing day at work where I got everything done on my to-do list, and I love those days.
I love that. I'll go next. My low is a situation I'm experiencing right now where I was going to attend a professional development program that I paid $4,000 for, and they don't want to reimburse me. So that's kind of my low, because I am waiting on a resolution about this whole issue, and it's been a really stressful week and a half, but God's in control. So my low is only as low as it can be, because I serve a bigger God than that situation, and that's it. So my high is the fact that we're coming together, the three of us, to record together this episode. And guys, man, I've been planning this for so long, individually with you guys, separately. And the fact that the three of us are here today to discuss something that I think is so important, and I think is so perfect for you two to be doing this conversation with me. Like, my high is so much bigger than my low.
That's awesome.
How about you, Leah?
I would say my low was I had an absolute coughing fit today. And so I am praying that that part of my day is over, that I can maintain a voice that can speak. And the reason that I got a coughing fit is my high, and that was that I got to talk to my sister today over video chat. She has still been unable to speak post brain surgery about 18 months ago, but we still make each other laugh like crazy, and she threw me into a laughing, coughing, hysterical fit today. So I am grateful for that, and grateful that I get to be here tonight with you guys as well.
I love that. So I think the best way to start out the conversation is by talking about what a trigger actually is, in different capacities. So, Leah?
Well,
take it away.
You'll soon learn. I love me some Google definitions and some APA, American Psychological Association definitions. And
heck yeah.
I'm that's just my jam. So the APA defines a trigger as an external stimulus that causes a reaction, often an emotional or psychiatric response. And so that's pretty broken down, but in layman's terms, it can really be anything. It can be a sound, a smell, something that you've seen, something that you consciously or unconsciously associate with a traumatic event in your life. They can instantly make you feel uncomfortable, fearful, disparaged. They can be distressing if you're not expecting them. If you walk into a situation and you were not expecting to be triggered, it can be doubly distressing. And especially for people who struggle with a history of trauma, if there are, mental health disorders, mental illnesses, obviously that can compound the trigger response category. And of course, again, you'll hear me mention this a lot, HALT, which is an acronym for hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Krista and I have talked ad nauseum about
ad nauseum.
Don't get Leah hangry. If I'm hungry, I'm immediately angry. And it's not a cute situation for anyone. So if you're experiencing any of those things, that can definitely exacerbate a trigger response that was already headed for a bad situation. So triggers can be sensory. So if you've ever had a moment where somebody passed by and you smelled their cologne, imagine if you are an assault victim and that cologne triggers a past assault. So talk about really not expecting something. You're out, maybe shopping with your kids, shopping with friends, and that scent brings you right back to a moment of just horrific trauma. You're not going to be able to control that. That is not a situation where you are going, from outward appearances to appear calm and mannerly. You're going to be struggling. It can be, a loud noise. We have a lot of veterans over here, and loud noises, 4th of July, New Year's, can be a very difficult time for triggering that post-traumatic stress disorder. It can be emotional. If you're somebody who has experienced harsh criticism in your childhood, receiving even a constructive critique from a colleague can really end up making you defensive or closed off, because it's a memory of that harsh criticism. If you witness, say, child abuse in a movie or a show, that can cause somebody that has that in their past to just completely break down. Like, that's the end of it. No more movie, no more functioning right now. That's it. It can be situational. I know for me, I definitely have social anxiety. And so walking into a crowded room of people that I don't know, that can trigger a panic attack. Anniversaries of traumatic events that's another big one for me too. Those days, weeks, months start to come up and I can just feel a change in my being. I'm not right. I'm more fearful than usual. I'm on edge. I'm jumpy. I'm irritable. It's like I can just feel it in the air. And sure enough, I'll look at a calendar and I'll say, oh, okay, that's why I'm not Leah today or this week or this month. And we have to remember that, triggers are people specific. So what triggers you might not trigger me and vice versa. So we need to be very mindful that something that seems minute to us or inconsequential can be a huge hurdle for somebody else. And, these triggers, they produce an unconscious reaction in people. So it's not like they're doing it to be dramatic. They're any of these things that we might have preconceived notions about. You're not able to control it in the moment. It hits you and you just have to kind of, try to get your head above water and get air back in your lungs. They can be physical and emotional. So it's not just a physiological response. You don't just have, sweaty forehead, clamminess, sweaty hands, your nausea, your heart rate goes up. It's also deeply emotional. You think about the things that stir in your spirit. You're angry, you're panicked, you're fearful, you're sad. So, just things to be mindful for. People who experience triggers, that sometimes you experience triggers and you have no idea what time it's taking you back to. You just know that you don't like it and you don't want to be there, and you'll do anything to get out of there and come back to the present.
Yeah, it's like a freeze mode.
Yes, absolutely. So I'd love to hear from you guys, personal testimony, examples of, what trigger means to you, and maybe something that you've experienced when you realize that you're being triggered.
Yeah, I think when I heard the term triggers for the first time, it was in 2021 at this healing retreat I went to. And I remember them explaining triggers and giving an analogy, this tuning fork analogy, because you can give the definition of what a trigger is like you did, right? The Google definition, the psychological, physiological, whatever, the science, the neuroscience. But practically, everything you said after that definitely helped make it make more sense. And the tuning fork analogy spoke to me a big time in the same way, because basically a trigger is such that, it brings up some type of thing. It's a reminder of something that happened, whether or not you can identify what that is. It is something that it is taking you back to in a way that makes you feel this like feeling. When you feel irritated, that's a trigger. And when you are triggered, it is a mirror into the fragmented parts of yourself, your childhood self. And so this tuning fork analogy is helpful because basically we have this system of all these different tuning forks, and there's feelings of happiness, there's feelings of, all of the positive feelings. And then there's feelings of jealousy and abandonment and rejection. And the negative feelings, when you get triggered, it is someone who made you feel the same way that all of these other situations made you feel, and it has created this tuning fork. And some are larger than others as far as the devastation on your physiological being, right? Because you can get irritated sometimes and you can blow it off. But when it is a tuning fork that strikes, and inside you feel this boiling upset, and you don't even understand why, but you are so mad, and you're hurt, and you're rejected, it is because the person who triggered you struck that tuning fork inside you. And we want to be mad at them because they triggered us. But that's where the quote, "Your trigger is not their responsibility," comes into play. Because I don't got to be mad. I don't have to be upset. Krista, why are you so mad? Because you don't have to be. And so the tuning fork was really interesting to me because people make you feel dismissed, rejected, jealous. And it just adds one more dynamic to that already existing, deeply rooted tuning fork of these feelings. And unless you identify whether that is valid or not to feel, not to feel, but to react or to understand the situation, whether you actually work down the trigger, that's where everything changes. Because the freeze mode, Leah, that you were talking about earlier, like, that's what happens when a trigger happens. You feel that boiling water inside you, that bristling, as I call it. The hairs raise, and you're just like,
Yeah.
What do you do about it at that point? Melissa, what are your thoughts? Do you have any thoughts?
You know, you said something when you were going over the definition of triggers, and there's some that like, I'm like, oh yeah, like I've known that about myself. But then you spoke about the specific dates and growing up. So when I was 5 years old, my brother was 3 and he was murdered, and I was a witness to it. And every February, it's his birthday, and he passed away on Mother's Day in May. And so, leading up to his birthday, I'd always be super emotional, super, just all over the place, scatterbrained. Same when it came around the anniversary of his death, and I never really put 2 and 2 together. And growing up, I was always told, oh, you're so dramatic. This is just because your brother died and you're trying to bring attention to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I was probably 30 and I'm sitting on a couch in a counselor's office and I'm telling her this, and she goes, so you're having a triggered response to your trauma.
Mm.
And now, and I'm putting it together going, oh, it's always around this time.
Yeah.
And so when you say that, it's like, oh yeah, like that's a real thing. And sometimes, I mean, here I am today, 39 years old, and just putting another piece of the puzzle together. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, you can go your entire life and not even realize that you're fighting triggers and that there are things happening with inside your brain, with inside your body. And it's okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what we don't know.
Mm-mm.
And we beat ourselves down for what we don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Unless we stop.
Absolutely.
And our anxieties reveal our attachments.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you look at a trigger in this way, it is a situation plus meaning. And a situation plus meaning is only an emotion. That's what the trigger is. It is an emotion. You haven't responded yet. The trigger is the emotional response the emotion being elicited. And so because we don't want to feel the way that we feel or think that we shouldn't feel that way or should have gotten over it by now, or even tell ourselves it's not that big a deal, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
or that it's been enough time, then we can't reveal our attachments if we're not identifying those anxieties, And so a situation plus meaning, that's a trigger. But meaning, your meaning window is purely based on your programming. So my meaning that I add to the situational part of, I don't know, some lady at the gas station was super rude to me for no reason. That's just the situation.
Right.
My response that's elicited, that's my meaning window. And my meaning window, that's based on 37 years of programming. Well, kind of like 35, because I'm trying to deconstruct a whole lot of it and rebuild it, which is why this podcast exists. But if you don't understand that meaning window, you cannot assess the situation clearly. Because if you are not being directly attacked, that trigger, that's not a defense mechanism that you need to react on necessarily. That's a feeling that is happening because of the decades of programming and belief systems that we've instilled by telling ourselves stories without assessing whether or not those stories are true in the first place. So if your nervous system is the thing that keeps you safe, then our nervous system will keep us comfortable to protect us because it's connected to our trauma. So our nervous system will always choose a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven.
Right.
Because that's easier. if you don't know the heaven and the beauty after the trigger no longer exists, you never have to deal with it again. You're not even upset. Like, if you don't know that that's even possible, you don't even want to address the trigger. And I'll give you guys an example and then let you guys say any thoughts you have. But I have an example of being in my car, and I like the show American Horror Story, or liked. And a couple of years ago, they announced on the radio Kim Kardashian was going to be the star in the upcoming series. I was pissed. I was so mad in my car driving, and I was just like, are you serious? And then I caught myself because I was already on this journey, and I was like, hey, Snow, why are you so mad? And I'm like, because, like, okay, so why are you so mad? Like, are you going to actually explain why you're mad? Or are you just like, I'm mad and I'm justified to be mad, so you just need to understand why I'm mad, right? That's the approach I took prior, is when someone asks why you're so upset and you don't really know how to explain it or can't explain it or don't want to explain it or address it, it's easier to just be like, I'm mad because I'm mad and you need to understand because my feelings matter. And, right? No, let's talk about it, Snow. And I have the devil and angel on each shoulder. And I don't even want to say devil and angel because it's literally just having a conversation with yourself. Like, you are the only thing that you're up against when you're healing, because you can appease and make other people happy and give them explanations. And if it appeases them, cool. When you have to appease yourself, you're either satisfied or you're not. And I was not satisfied without walking down the triggers. And I was like, I can't stand Kim Kardashian. I am upset that she's being chosen to be the star on this show. I miss Jessica Lange. It's not the same without her. And Kim Kardashian told Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon or one of the late night hosts just last year, I'll never be an actress. Like, I admire them. She does reality TV. And so she was like, I admire them. I would never try to be that because I'm not doing that. And so I'm like, and she said she didn't even want to be an actress, right? I'm arguing with myself. And then, okay, are you done? Right? I gave all the reasons I was mad. And I had to start and work down each one. Okay, American Horror Story. Are you on the production team, Krista? Do you know anything about what's going on? Do you have a say in how this show is created? Is this even your industry, your realm? Why do you feel like you get to have an opinion on something that you are not even involved with? Okay, let's talk about Kim Kardashian. Why are you so mad? Okay, you don't like her. But do you know her? Do you have her number? Do you actually know enough to have an opinion in the first place? And yeah, she may have said that, but can she change her mind about being an actress? Can she decide she wants to try being an actress? Is that okay? Because she said that, you don't think she can decide she wants to act? She needs to not act forever because she said she has no interest in being an actress. Like, think about this rationally, Krista. And I'm thinking about this, having to literally talk myself down. Well, okay, yeah, of course she can change her mind. Like, what am I even thinking? Yes, she can change her mind. No, I don't have her number. Would I want someone talking about me on the internet or judging me and making an opinion if they didn't even know me personally? Would I want that? No, I wouldn't. Okay, American Horror Story. You miss Jessica Lange. What does that have anything to do with Kim Kardashian? There's never gonna be another Jessica Lange. That is what it is. What it is. Also, Krista, you were pissed off when Lady Gaga was featured in season 5 as the star when Jessica Lange left the show, and then you ended up actually loving it. Bought the season and everything. You loved it. You were just mad because it wasn't what you wanted. Maybe Kim Kardashian is a good actress and maybe you actually enjoyed the season, but like, are you willing to give it a chance? I literally had all these conversations with myself in my car to then get to the point where I got home and I was like, okay, I'm in a much better mood. I was ready to let it ruin my day until I talked through it and was like, wait a second. Is this valid? That I am so triggered about something that I'm not involved with, don't have control over, don't know these people like personally. And then also, Kim Kardashian walking down that trigger got even further because I realized it was jealousy. Oh, are you jealous that she's rich, Krista? Are you jealous that she's rich? I realized that, yeah, I diminished her in my mind because I don't want to do what she does. I don't respect or value reality TV in the same way that people that respect it and value it do. But does that mean there's anything wrong with it? Does that mean you get to have an opinion that diminishes someone else's life just because you don't want to do it yourself? You want to be rich? Go do what she did. Oh, you don't want to do that? Okay, why are you so mad then? I had to walk down that trigger with myself to realize this was about missing Jessica Lange and the nostalgia of what American Horror Story started in, not agreeing with anybody, no matter who it is, that's going to take the place after she left the show. I judged all of them. And then guess what happened? I gave it a chance and I was like, oh, okay. I actually just watched the season. Like, this was 2 years ago. I barely watched the season recently and I was like, yeah, I judged harshly because I watched the season. She did a fantastic job. She was great, just like Lady Gaga was when I was mad about her being cast. All of those things literally have nothing to do with anybody but me. And if I got to work and spewed all my anger out of whatever, all I'm doing is just snowballing this trigger that I could work down and then be perfectly fine with by the time I got to my destination. 45 minutes or an hour later, I was like, okay, I have a totally different perspective now. And I'm not mad anymore because I literally had to talk myself down the trigger to understand I'm the problem. It's me. So, anybody have thoughts?
Maybe I'm old because I have never seen an episode and I have no clue what any of that dealt with. I might just be old.
I mean, just think of it as any show that you like, that the one of the main cast leaves the show and then everyone they replace it with, we're sitting here like Judge Judy, like
Please do that again.
What?
Judge
Judy.
But straight up, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so mean. I'm sitting over here like being mad that someone I don't even know is starring in something that I feel like somehow I get an opinion in. Like, am I producing it? There's all these facets that I was like, oh my gosh, Krista, you're just like, that's your opinion. But you can be mad about it, or you can understand that if you really care that much, you can get involved and have an opinion. And, oh, sorry, it's not your industry, so that wouldn't happen. Then you don't really have a say. Like you have to look at it from the perspective of, oh, my opinion doesn't really matter here. And if I wanted my opinion to matter. And if I cared that much, I could get involved and I could try to, be a part of the show and all that. No, I just wanted to have an opinion about something because it's easy and opinions are like assholes and everyone has one.
Well, and I think that makes it applicable, even for something, as what some may see as an inconsequential, TV show. Like to some people, that might be the thing that gets you really riled up. That might be something that's really important to you. But I think it boils down to, you were able to work that down and realize that you were dealing with, real issues of jealousy. You didn't have control. You did not have a seat at that table, which meant that you do not have a voice. You have not earned the right to, and on a broader scale, that whole, women being women that straighten other women's crowns, even when they don't know that they were crooked, and, becoming that better version of yourself. That is somebody who reaches down and brings women up to where you are, as opposed to reaching up and tearing them down to feel better about yourself. So, something seemingly unimportant, in the grand scheme of things, did help you illuminate some very serious, deep-seated character flaws that, needed working on and needed progress on. So I applaud you, friend. Tuning fork applause.
That was my thought too.
Applause.
It's good. It takes self-awareness to realize, and once you have that self-awareness and you realize it, you have to be able to walk yourself through it. I mean, there's lots of people who, deal with this and probably have different steps or whatever. I mean, I know I have things that work for me when I'm in the middle of triggers. And so I think it shows and speaks to your self-awareness that you're able to recognize that and walk yourself and talk yourself through it.
Well, and I think that's the biggest thing, is that everyone will do it differently. And that's what I've learned. But when you know that your feelings matter, you no longer fight against what the feelings are. You try to assess why you feel that way so that you can understand whether or not this is a feeling that needs to elicit the reaction that you just had with the trigger. Like getting super mad because of a star on a show while driving my car. Like, I was so mad. It could have ruined my day. And we can let triggers affect our day unless we realize that triggers are just mirrors into ourselves.
Right.
The fact that we're triggered, if someone is not attacking us, then that is just a mirror into a fragmented part of our unhealed childhood trauma. And we can either address the feelings and admit them, step one, or we cannot. Then the problem is that people don't want to, when I say people, I mean all of us. Like, we don't want to say what we feel because we feel stupid saying it because of whatever reason, XYZ.
Right.
But when you can say, I'm super mad because of this, I don't really know why I'm so mad, but I'm so mad. Okay, well, what are you mad about? Can you get to that next step? This is what I'm mad about. Because that's when it's easy to shut down and be like, I don't want to explain why. I just want you to understand why I'm mad. But when you're alone and working down a trigger, you only have yourself to talk to. And that's where the true healing and growth comes. So triggers, the tuning fork analogy, it really creates this environment of triggers being an opportunity for growth.
Yes. Don't be an emu. Don't bury your head in the sand.
Exactly. because you will get nowhere. And then you'll pull your head out and then you'll deal with all the stuff that you missed while your head was in the sand. And then you still have to deal with all of it later. And it's much worse.
And I think it might be an ostrich and not an emu, but you get the analogy. And yeah.
I don't know what an emu is, but I got the analogy because I was picturing an ostrich.
Now I can't get the picture of this bird out of my head. Thank you, Melissa. That was
Hey, you know what? When I was learning about my triggers and trying to figure out what I'm going to do with them, there would be times where I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to emu it. And I say emu all the time. And I really do think it's an ostrich. Sorry, emus. But I mean, and I'll say that to my kids too. I'm like, are you being an emu right now? And then teenagers and the funny looks they love to give their parents.
Oh, yes. Oh,
but
yes.
It works. I mean, it's just like the tuning fork analogy, right? Like some people, I picture things, okay?
Yeah, same.
Listen, I think that's our title. Tuning forks and emus. Like,
that is the best title for this episode. Everybody's not going to know why it's titled that until this point of 33 seconds.
I think I just fell in love with this episode.
I'm already in love with both of you, so.
I love you too.
Feelings mutual.
Okay, so
it's mutual.
Emu?
Mutually, I'm sure.
What's an emu? I don't even know what an emu is.
An emu is a bird. It's like an ostrich. They're big birds in Australia. Sorry. I have family in Australia. I know lots of weird animals. Like, Australia's got them all.
I think that's super cool if I didn't have to deal with the big bugs.
I
mean,
mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
The accents, though.
Oh, yes.
Man.
We're not going there. Nope.
Anyway, back to triggers.
So,
is there such thing as a good trigger? That was a good trigger.
That was a good trigger.
Right? See, there are positive triggers, but everyone automatically associates trigger with like a negative thing. But a trigger is like anything. It doesn't mean that it's negative. I had a trigger that was an amazing one recently where I diffused lemon essential oil because it reminds me of being at my grandma's on Fridays because we were homeschooled. So sometimes we would get to like hang out at my grandma's on Fridays, and her maid Benita would come clean, and she always used lemon pledge. So the whole smell of my grandma's house was filled with the smell of lemon pledge and Mexican food on Fridays.
I love that. Just because there's a toilet bowl cleaner that smells like my grandpa. And I said this to my mom once, and she's like, you do realize that's his chew. So my toilets smell.
Tobacco chew? I'm dead.
Grandpa, if you're listening, I love you. Oh my gosh, just cover me up with a blanket, put me to bed. I can't even. This just became my favorite episode ever.
Straight up. OMG. Also, I learned what an emu is.
Tuning forks, emus,
lemon pledge, toilet
bowl cleaner.
Wait, which one was it?
Something Lysol. I'll find it for you.
Oh gosh.
Not an affiliated product.
But they could pay us.
Do you want your toilets to smell like your grandpa's chew? The advertising writes itself.
Did grandpa's chew want to smell like a toilet? I mean, I feel like this goes kind of the opposite.
I feel like there's more to this.
There's more to this. We're going to, I think we should do a number 2.
Dissect.
We need to do a number 2, and we need to get into why Melissa's grandfather's chew smells like toilet bowl cleaner. That's the most important question in that entire sentence right there. I truly believe.
I mean, I can add to the story. I can tell you about the time in Target that I was hugging the bottle of toilet bowl cleaner because it smelled like my grandpa.
Well, we still got 4 minutes, so go for it.
I think I just said the story.
Okay, so that is going to be all for today. But we will be back to talk more about triggers because, as we've learned, they are opportunities for growth. And they're mirrors into parts of yourself that are unhealed. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with feeling exactly as you do. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to the Level Up podcast. And the squad wants you to know that we're here to help. Feel free to email us at leveluppodcastsquad@gmail.com. If you have any questions or comments or feedback, we would love to hear from you. God bless, and we'll see you next time here on Level Up.